Safety roll call. Present. Here.
Here.
Approval of the minutes of our meetings of June 7th.
I'd like to make a motion that we defer action on the minutes.
All in favor? Aye. Next, a bid opening request advertising dates of March 28 and April 4. Bid opening date of April 18th for River Drive from Bertram to Northcott.
I'd like to make a motion that we set those advertisement dates and have bid opening dates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, correspondence from Valdivia Contractors requesting permission to perform work on the 141st Bridge, mile marker 4.6, for 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I've taken a look at their proposal, and I'd like to recommend that we approve their work on the bridge.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next, from Earth Exploration, they request permission to perform 8 roadway borings on Alcott and Waveland Avenues between 167th and 169th.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve those boring requests.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next are bid awards for 2 demolition projects. Since I forgot my glasses, would you read those, please?
The bid award is broken up on a per address basis. So basically what they're doing is they're gonna make the award by each individual address. So if you want, I can read them off. 6625 Alexander, 5733 Bering, 6916 Bertram, 5963 Birch, 4117 Cameron, 4904 Cedar, 1133 Cleveland, 249 Doty, 6327 Forest, and 910 Hoffman to JM Industrial Services Incorporated. And then 5341 to 45 Calumet, 7514 Columbia, and 4403 Hoffman to RA Oros Incorporated. And that gives us a better price by splitting it up on a per property basis. The second bid package awards all of the parcels except for 7732 Walnut to JM Industrial Services and 7732 Walnut to RA Oros Incorporated. And those are all the lowest bidders. So I'd like to recommend that we approve these awards.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5E from Chief Miller, he requests approval for the Hammond Mohawks Memorial Day Parade. And they supplied the route also.
I move that the parade and route be approved.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, Fire Chief Miller requests approval of the demotion of Senior Captain Barney to the rank of Captain and promotion of Captain Bobus to the rank of Senior Captain, effective March 18th.
I move to approve the demotion and promotion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have submitted, this was with Ms. Kinsella, who was here last week, an agreement for the property at 4610 Pine. Is that satisfactory? That's been submitted, Mr. Callahan?
Yeah, he's good.
Do we want a motion?
Well, now that we've heard from Mr. Callahan's spokesperson,
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Next hearing at 6425 Madison Street.
Morning. This is the property of Tricia Etherton. In November, we entered into an agreed order calling for work to be done to remove the basement apartment She submitted the paid invoices showing that work was done, along with photographs of it. I didn't know if the city was going to go back and inspect in the last couple of weeks, but the last of our orders says when the city's satisfied that the work was done, the board would dismiss the pending notice of violation. So I don't know if we're ready to do that, or if the city wants to go to the house and take a look.
Call and just tell us that.
And she sent to the city copies of the photos and the work.
I'll check into that, make sure it's going to get out there.
Okay. So if you want to postpone it for another couple of weeks, Jim?
And if there's confirmation prior to that, can we notify Mr. Matthews so he doesn't have to appear?
Would that be April 4th, Mr. President?
April 4th it is. Does that take care of it?
That takes care of that one. I also have item I on your agenda.
3847 to 3849 Sheffield.
Correct. That's a single-family residence with an apartment in the basement and a 4-unit on the same property, 2 separate addresses. And I've met with the city on a couple occasions now, and we submitted an agreed order, but I just submitted it yesterday, so I don't know if they've had a chance to fully look at it. It's all right?
It's what we discussed.
Second to be dismissed.
No, we have an agreement on the property. It's going to be recorded on the...
Move that the order to rehabilitate be approved. The agreed order.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Mr. Matthews will be needing a copy after it's signed by the board so it can be recorded on the property.
And I can get that from Lynn after everybody signs it. So. Thank you very much.
Next, the hearing on 12 Lawndale in 268 169th Street.
We're asking for a continue to April the 25th,
April on this one?
on both of them.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. We're asking for a continue for April the 24th. I'm sorry, April 25th.
Actually, the 25th or?
25th is on a
Okay.
Thursday. Is it?
Is it 4th? Is it 25th? No, it's 25th, I'm sorry.
We were going to ask for 60 days on this, but I think since we're, the reason for the extension was so you folks could work out what you're doing, so 25th should be fine.
We'll see you on April 25th.
Thank you.
And would there be any objection? I'm also here for item EE.
Go right ahead.
This is the property at 6609 Jefferson Avenue. My firm just got involved in this, and I guess there's a number of issues with the property. It's been declared unsafe. My understanding is that the owner says he had worked out some of these issues and gotten approval for some of the unsafe conditions at a prior time. However, we're looking to substantiate that, and of course,
I need a document that says that. I don't believe any inspector would ever approve that apartment that they're talking about, a basement apartment. We have nothing in our record to indicate that it was inspected by Inspector Mr. Andrade said it was out there.
You need
Actually-
time to inspect, Mr. Callahan?
Pardon me?
You need time to conduct an inspection?
No.
Just to clarify this, what we have is a 5-unit. The building department marked it uninhabitable and told everybody they had to get out in 10 days. The owner of the property has reason to believe that an inspector from the city of Hammond, which may or may not be true, I don't know, but he has reason to believe that it had previously approved these units. So basically, all that Attorney Bartholomew is asking for is that the board stay the eviction of the tenants while they just do a little discovery. Did an inspector previously say it was okay, or did they not? There's just not enough time within those 10 days to make that determination.
that's correct. And Ms. Garza just informed me that she has located some documentation pertaining to the previous inspection downstairs, so it looks like we can point them in that direction. so they can examine those documents. So if we could get just a little bit more time on this to
Is that enough time, May 9th?
May 9th?
There aren't any
That-
safety issues out there, are there, that we're aware of?
Pardon me?
Are there any safety issues at this property?
Naturally, there are safety issues. No fire separation, required fire separation. I believe there's some electrical issues.
No
fire
emergency safety matters.
You know, we have responsibility when we find unsafe conditions in the market uninhabitable. Gives them X amount of days to remove the people. If you want to extend that, it's your choice. It doesn't mean I have to agree with you.
We would ask for the May 9th date. That's fine with us. We're-
5 weeks? 6 weeks?
Can we do it by the April 25th date?
Mr. President, that's gonna be our demolition date, and so there's gonna be already 70 people in here. I just don't know if you want to take any more. How about May 2nd?
May 2nd it is.
May 2nd. Thank you.
Item 5K, 1020 Myrtle Avenue.
I would just request a 30-day continuance to, to speak with the attorney. I believe they're moving along with the corrections of the issues.
May 9th.
Thank you.
Attorney Sachs requests a hearing on 4815 Pine.
He wants to continue.
Pardon?
He wants to continue.
Right, to May the 9th. Next, 4904 to 4906 Ash.
You're the property owner?
Yes, yes, I am.
Your name and address.
Leon Rusnak, address of the property is 4904-06 Ash.
Is that where you live too?
No,
Where do you live?
848 Chicago Street, Hammond, Indiana.
City ready to proceed on this property?
Is that the 2-unit where the fire was?
There was a fire, the city has, basically said it's uninhabitable. It's been broken into, half the radiators have been stolen. I'm at a loss as to what to do.
Didn't we have an inspection scheduled and you failed to appear?
Yes, because I took my son to the doctor, I called, left a message, and nobody called me to reschedule.
Okay, so you.
Actually, there were 2 inspections that were canceled.
How many rental properties do you have in Hammond?
That's the only one.
When can you be available to get this inspection done?
I mean, we can do an inspection. I mean, I don't know when.
Well, the property's been boarded up and it's been added to the order to repair demolish list, so.
Do you plan on repairing the property?
I don't have the money. I cannot even, get a loan on the property because of an ordinance with Hammond that states that if the property was destroyed, it can only be rebuilt at 75%. So I can't even get a mortgage on the property to do any repairs. So I am at a loss as to what to do with this property.
Did you have insurance on it?
Yes, and I have insurance only to cover the minor fire damage, not the electrical repairs that the city is requesting.
Well, will the insurance cover demolition of the property?
I don't think so. Why would they cover demolition?
Well, if you're not gonna repair it, you can't repair it, then
Well, the likely course is that if there's nothing you can do, it's gonna proceed to demolition.
so if they'll cover the cost of it, you won't get stuck with the cost of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mr. President, President, I understand the position he's in, but we can't leave a half burned out building on Ash Avenue just sitting there.
What's the next step in the demolition process?
Is it set for April 25th? Have you gotten a notice?
I haven't received anything. The only reason I came here and sent a letter was because I have a registration fee that it was sent to me of like $4,000. And that's why the original letter that I wrote was asking for some way to waive that, because I wasn't aware of that.
You've never registered your property, you've been sent letters telling you to register your property, and now you're here asking for mercy?
Well, that isn't the issue before the board today, and it's going to disappear if this property is demolished.
Okay, let's set it for hearing, for demolition hearing, we'll make the decision then.
May the 9th?
Is it on the demolition list now?
Mr. President, if it's not on the schedule for the 25th of April, because we cut it off at 25 new ones, it will be for end of June, June 27th, I believe, if you have a calendar.
How about May the 2nd?
We can have a status date for May the 2nd, but, I mean, it comes down to the same issue. Is he gonna repair it, or is he not gonna repair it? There's no middle
Well,
choice.
I think he's expressed that,
there's over $50,000 worth of work. The property's not even valued at $50,000.
So then, are you going to demolish it, or are you gonna let the city demolish it and put a lien?
I am not putting one dime into that property, to be honest with you.
Yeah, then I guess we'll just wait till June and we'll demolish it then.
And can I have something in writing stating that so I can give it to my mortgage company, because they're gonna have to foreclose on it too?
I mean, you'll get the paperwork when we send it out.
Because I have not received anything.
what's your mailing address?
They have my mailing address as
Why
848,
don't you tell me? I don't have your mailing.
okay, it's 848 Chicago Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46327.
There will be a hearing on whether or not to issue an order of demolition. Is May 2nd enough time for notice to,
I mean, if we want to do an emergency demolition, we can do an emergency demolition, or we could just let it go on the normal course of schedule, if it's gonna be scheduled up anyway.
May the 2nd will be the hearing on whether or not a demolition order is issued.
Okay. Do I need to be here for that?
That's
That's
up to
your
you.
property.
You can have the property, actually.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
213 142nd Street.
What we're asking for is the removal of the second floor illegal non-conforming apartment. Basically, upon many complaints that we received about the property and the tenants above, we set up an inspection with the owner, who has been very cooperative. We went in and saw multiple violations, and that the property, there were no permits to create a second floor apartment, and there was no existing fire separation between the two units. So that's why we were asking to affirm the removal for the second floor apartment. It was actually marked uninhabitable as well.
Nobody's here from that property?
I believe there's legal representation on the property, but I don't know if they need more time to review the file. But,
Well, we haven't issued permits to construct the second unit. Have we issued any permits to do any work in the second unit?
Upon the inspection, there were some minor issues that, we pointed out to the landlord. They did do a few drywall patchwork and fully enclose the water heater space. Other than that, it's really just minor repairs that we requested they repaired. It was marked uninhabitable the same day. The tenants did vacate within the given time period while the permit history was being researched. When I was speaking with the homeowners or the landlords, they did, state that they were gonna, comply with our request. And then I know they went on vacation for a while, and so I haven't heard from her in a few weeks. If you'd like to set it over for more time, that's fine, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys got the paperwork. Our main concern is that the property was constructed out of balloon frame construction, which, back when the buildings were built, any multi-unit property would be built using brick frame construction. Therefore, there's no adequate way to fully install the fire separation between two units in a multi-unit dwelling when it's, constructed out of balloon framing. The fire will just shoot up the walls. So that's typically why we ask for the removals on these properties.
I move that the findings in order be approved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
903 Main Street.
We're asking for the removal of the first floor rear apartment and the second floor apartment. The owner is cooperating, permits have been pulled, the work is almost complete. We'd ask for you to affirm the findings in order.
I'll make a motion that we confirm the findings in order.
All in favor? Aye. Next, a rental registration hearing for 4439, 4441 Cameron Street. Your opportunity to request relief from the board.
I just wasn't aware of the fees that were due, so as soon as I became aware of it, for 2013, I applied and registered houses.
We've actually had set up an inspection. The owner, this is actually the property manager, Mr. Hammonds. They are 3 single-family homes. They purchased the property, I believe it was, May of last year? Correct. March of last year. Upon notification that, rental properties were required to be registered, they did comply and have been very cooperative in getting the things fixed in the property. So I would like the board to see if you guys could take that into account.
What's the position of code enforcement on this one?
Mr. President, it appears that code enforcement is asking you to grant the appeal based on the substantial cooperation of the property owner.
How long have you owned this property and not
We-
registered it?
We just purchased it in March of last year, and I didn't know you were supposed
We're only talking about 2012.
2012, correct.
Move that the late fee for 2012 be waived and the units be registered at the regular rate of $80.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you for coming. 6340 Nevada.
Good morning. My name is Celia Maldonado. I'm the owner. I am requesting reduction or elimination of the late fees. I bought the property in 2007. My father lived in it till 2010. We put it up for rental then. I was not aware that we were supposed to register it at the City of Hammond, City Hall. I did ask the water company when I asked if it would be okay to put the bill under the renter's name, if there's anything else I needed to do in June of 2010. And they said no. When I pay the taxes yearly, I also asked and they said no.
Ms. Maldonado, is this a single-family home?
Yes,
Are you in the business of renting property or is
it was my first one.
your only one?
Mhm.
And it was a rental in 2011 and 2012? You had active renters in there?
From 2010 to 2011, 11 to 12, and we renewed the lease again, 12 to 13. So I can pay the the registration fees. I have, now that I'm aware of it.
Move that the late fees for 2010, 11, and 12 be waived and the unit be registered at the regular rate of $80.
For the previous years too?
10, 11, and 12.
Okay.
Thank you.
6341 Nevada.
6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada. 6341 Nevada.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Rental registration for property owned by Mr. Juan Atalano.
Juan Atilano, 4333 Johnson, Hammond, Indiana.
What we did is, the property was noticed during other violations, for having tow trucks parked, and I noticed there was 2 meters on the property. Mr. Atalano has allowed us to do the inspection, upon which we have found that the property, does have a second floor apartment. It is legal, there were permits to install it. I'm unaware of how long the property was actually rented out, so, that's why I was asking Mr. Atalano to appear today to express to the board, you know, how long the property has been occupied, for how many years, so that he can get the registration settled.
Well, I had my cousins living there since May last year, and that was all. I've been living there by myself. It's my own property, yeah.
Okay. And then your cousin lives in the other?
Well, I let them move in because they needed help, so I'm like, you just help me out with the bills and so on. No, they just helped me out with the bills and so on.
Okay. You understand that if your cousin moves out and you have a tenant that moves in, you have to register the unit within 30 days?
Right.
Okay. I'll make the motion that action at 4333 Johnson be dismissed.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. 1828 Indianapolis Boulevard.
All right, Mr. President, this is, I'm not sure who the owner is. Are you Juan Luzaro?
Yes.
This is what I have for this property. On January 22nd, 2013, received a call from one of the tenants at this property not having any heat since he moved in. The landlord provided him with space heaters and has not made any attempts to fix the heat in the apartment. He explained that there are 3 other units that all have working heat and are occupied. Property has not been registered since 2009. It's a 5-unit. He's owned it since 2001. He hasn't registered since 2009, and he's got somebody living there without him.
Your chance to respond, sir.
Okay, from 2010 to 2011, I have someone in charge to buy the rental registration, and for some reason he never buy those. And according to the heat, we have an agreement between the first floor and the second floor, and right now I'm paying 1/3 of the bills for the heat.
Is there heat available throughout the unit?
Yes.
If I may, the issue with the front apartment is that there's a commercial dress shop underneath it, and the dress shop and that front apartment are on the same register. So when the people from the dress shop leave at night, they turn the heat down, which then the tenant upstairs all night isn't provided with heat. So in the meantime, Mr. Huzar had provided the tenant with 3 or 4 space heaters to use, instead of trying to find a sufficient source of heat to consistently heat his apartment. Currently, I'm going through the permit history on the property to see if that front unit is actually legal. There's actually no water closet or bathroom located inside the actual apartment. You have to go across the hall to use the restroom in that front apartment. So there's some questionability there as to whether or not it should be occupied. But that's pending the permit research.
Do you need some time to straighten that out?
Yeah, I would request 30 days, and then we can...
That'll be a separate matter than this.
Yeah.
Right, correct,
rental
correct,
registration.
right. So this will be for registration, then that'll be brought up at a later date.
Want to set them both for May the 9th?
That'll work. I'll get you the paperwork for this.
Very good.
Thank you.
3958 Wabash.
I'm Phil Gibbs. I'm the owner of the property. I currently reside there at least half of the week. I work a swing shift on and off. On my days off, I stay at my fiance's house. I have a close friend of the family. She stays there with me.
Single family, or is it?
Yes. Yes, it's just me. I live there alone. Well,
You're the owner?
yes. I live there with my daughter and her mother, a up until 2011, and I was going through a terrible custody battle, and I work a lot, so the house was unattended. Said I had a close friend who needed a place to stay, just having a hard time. So I offered her to come stay with me and also look over things while I'm not there. And
Are you receiving rental income?
no, no, it's still in my name. Like I said, no.
You don't live in Crown Point?
I changed my mailing address to Crown Point because I wasn't getting mail for sometimes a week or two at a time.
So where does your mail go in Crown Point?
My fiance's house, which I plan to, once we're married, I plan to move in there full time, and then I'll have to figure out what to do with the home in Hammond.
But you've been having the mail there since 2006.
No, she didn't even own that home till 2011.
Is it a fact that this property has never generated rental?
Never. I actually have a letter from her, my friend Jill that lives there with me. It's signed and notarized.
Well, they have a form of affidavit.
And the lawyer
Fill out with building, don't they, Mr. Callahan?
I'm gonna make a motion that, action at 3958 Wabash be dismissed.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second that motion, but you need to go downstairs and fill out that affidavit that
Okay.
you're not renting the
And, yeah, once I'm married, my fiance won't allow me to live there full-time until we're married. Once I'm married, I will have to either rent it out or sell it, because I know I'm obviously gonna lose the homestead exemption and stuff then. But until May, like I said, I still live there.
Is there a second on the motion?
I seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming. 1510 170th Street.
Good morning. I'm Jeremiah Porter. I live at 9400 Verbena in Munster. My wife and I own 1510 170th. We purchased it in February of 2012. During the negotiation process with the former owners, they had told us that they were paid up through 2012. I didn't do any follow-up, was not aware that the registration fees were due for 2012 until I got a letter in the mail, a month ago, 6 weeks ago or so, and immediately I actually got that letter in the mail having paid the 2013 registration fees. Got a receipt for that and then a second piece of correspondence saying, hey, you owe 2012 and there are also some late fees. I will immediately pay the 2012 fees. I'm just requesting that the late fees be dropped. It's a 2-unit. Mm-hmm.
And you closed on it in February of 2012?
Correct.
Based on the timing of the property transfer, I'm gonna make the motion that the late fee be waived and the property be registered for 2012 at the regular rate of $80 per unit.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much. Can I pay downstairs here? Does that work?
Yes.
Yes? All right, thank you.
If you wait until after the meeting, we'll get a copy of the board's decision.
Okay.
Bring that downstairs with you, and you can take care of the fee then.
Okay.
4931 Walnut.
Good morning. We're here to ask for reduction on the late fees for the 2 years that we haven't paid. This is my uncle's property. He doesn't speak English.
Mr. President, what I have is that he's owned it since 1994. It's a 2-unit. They receive a homestead and it's not been registered since 2009.
It was registered prior to 2009?
Well, it says it's not registered since 2009. So I don't know if his uncle lives in one of the units.
Yeah, he lives upstairs.
He rents the other unit, but it's not been registered since 2009. Who lives in the other unit?
Nobody. Somebody used to live there, and then they destroyed the apartment, and they've been trying to rebuild it since.
Where do you live?
I live in East Chicago, sir. I'm in the military, actually. I'm
Did you
here.
get a homestead in that property?
His uncle lives there. He's translated.
When did the tenants come out and destroy the apartment? What year?
¿En qué años? Estadio del Señor.
Dile que es como 10.
In 2010.
Okay, so you registered in 2009,
Oh, yeah.
2010, the apartment got destroyed, and there hasn't been a tenant since then? Is that-
No, yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna make the motion that the action at 4931 Walnut be dismissed. If you do rehabilitate the second unit, have a tenant move in, you have 30 days to register.
Okay.
My motion.
All in favor? Aye. 3840 Torrance.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Bill Dellis. I'm the owner of the property. I also was unaware of registering the property until I received a letter in January, which I promptly paid. And I had purchased the property in the fall of 2011. So for 2011 and 2012, I was unaware of registering the property. I also set up the inspection with Inspector Farrell, which he completed earlier this week.
Mr. Dallas, did you have a tenant in the property in 2011 when you purchased it?
Yes, I did.
Mr. President, Mr. Farrell has indicated to me that the owner has been very cooperative.
Single-family home, Mr. Dallas?
Yes, sir.
Make the motion that the late fees be waived for 2011 and 2012, and the unit be registered at the regular rate of $80.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Item 5X, notice of violation hearing 2724 Cleveland.
Good morning. My name is Frank Valadez. I'm the owner of 2724 Cleveland. I bought this, the building was built in 1953. I bought it about 18 years ago. Right now, it's a related living person that's related to the downstairs and the one that lives upstairs. The one upstairs is Army veteran. There's a total of 3 adults and 1 child. I have one lease, but the person upstairs also pays a portion of the payment on that. They've been there for about 6-7 years already. Usually when I have a lease, I let them there for 1 year, and if they're good tenants, then I said, we don't have to rewrite the lease because I keep the same amount of rent there. I've been paying for the registration as 2 different fees. And the only reason I did that was because there's 2 different names, the uncle and the niece downstairs. So I didn't want to have any process saying that there was something illegal about not paying these registration fees. That's about it.
Good morning. Yes, Mr. Valdez did register it as a 2-unit. There was an inspection, and actually the tenants there are using it as a 2-unit. It was never permitted for the upstairs unit. There's no fire separation, and no permits to make it a 2-unit. It's a single-family residence. I am asking you to affirm and the finding in orders that the upstairs unit be removed.
Is there common access between the first and second floor where the tenants can go back and forth?
Yes, it is. No, there's also in the back.
I actually met the owner there yesterday to take a look at it. Clearly single-family home, 1.5-story home, interior staircase going up, a myriad of violations on it. The people may or may not be related, but he did have leases with both apartments, does currently collect rent on both apartments. Clearly he uses a 2-unit. But what I got from our conversation yesterday is that you have an offer for the downstairs tenants to purchase it and convert it into a single-family home. Is that still correct?
Yes, it's still correct. Once again, I bought this like 18 years ago, and it's always been like that. It has never, and I personally invited Mr. Koch to come and check it out, that I'm not doing anything illegal or anything that I know of. And when the first inspectors came, first of all, they were only going to check the downstairs. And then I said, well, I have an apartment upstairs that's related, living to the person downstairs.
On separate leases.
Right.
I think my suggestion,
Oh, going back to the, I'm sorry, going back to what he said that I didn't answer. The tenant downstairs, which is the niece, showed some interest in possibly buying the property. I'm willing to sell the property to them with this, of course, they would have to get financing. I'm going to give them a special deal so that they could do it. And of course, then I would no longer be the owner. They would be the owner, but it would be the same people that are living there because they're related.
Tenant submitted an offer to purchase the property.
No, not yet. What I did, I went ahead and I showed them an amortization of what it would cost them monthly with a certain percentage down. And then, of course, they're looking at it, and hopefully they would go ahead and buy it if they want to. Of course, they have to get approved if they could buy it.
doesn't change the fact that he has 2 units that's not legal, collecting the rent upstairs. My suggestion would be for the board to affirm the order to remove the second floor apartment, but give him 60 days to work through it. It is not in such bad condition that it's an immediate hazard to the people living on the second floor, but it does need at a reasonable time to be vacated. I think 60 days
Well,
for him to work through it and get the second people out.
I mean, if you're asking for that, I mean, I feel sorry for the veteran that he's in his 70s and he really likes that. I do have a front and back entrance and everything. You know, once again, it's a related living. If that's the case, then I would like a 90-day instead of a 60-day to give him a chance for him to find something. But, you know, if I sell the property to the person downstairs, it's still going to be related living, that he's going to stay there then. But then I won't be the owner. I mean,
Well, are your prospective purchasers' intention to occupy that home as a single
oh, yes,
unit?
yes,
That will solve the problem if
right,
that happens.
exactly.
If they don't, you will have a problem.
If they don't, then I have a problem. But then again, once again, it's a relay whether they're the owners, they're still going to have 3 adults and 1 child. But because I'm the owner and I'm renting it, then I guess they're looking at it as 2 apartments.
Unlawfully, correct.
Apparently, yeah. But, you know, once again, it's been like that since 1953. I was not aware of any of these things because I bought it like about 18 years ago, and the person that I bought it died.
The city requests 60 days, Mr. Valdez requests 90. How about if we split the difference, set this for status for June 13th, give Mr. Valdez and his tenants an opportunity to work out financing?
That's about 75 days?
Yep.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
The order would be affirmed then, but postponed for 75 days. In other words, we're asking for you to say, remove the second floor apartment, but don't do it for 75 days. We're going to give the tenant 75 days to find a suitable place.
Let's say that, I mean, I'm going to try my hardest and give them a really good deal on it. Apparently, I checked with the American Savings where I have the mortgage, and I said, what was it appraised, which I had it appraised, which I had it refinanced last year on 2011. And they said that it's been appraised at 111,000. I'm willing to go ahead and possibly even give it to them for possibly even.
It would be very helpful if you provided this board with a signed offer to purchase from your people.
I agree. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. And then, of course, the next step would be for them to try to get a finance.
This is gonna be set for 75 days to report the status, and if there is no pending sale,
Then
the order's gonna be issued.
right. Okay,
If prior to that time you advise of the progress and you get an offer to purchase, we can work with that a little bit.
okay, that's fine.
What date was that? June 13th.
June 13th? Okay.
Thank you.
Does this mean that on June 13th, I'll get a letter saying, and then we come back here the June the 13th?
Come back here on June 13th.
Oh, I come back here June, okay.
Right, but if you get an offer to purchase prior to that time, advise our building, our code enforcement people.
Okay, let them know.
Right,
Okay,
thank you.
all right, thank you.
2724 Cleveland. I'm sorry. 44 Warren.
Good morning, my name is Joshua Malin. I'm the owner of the company that owns the property. We recently had an inspection done, and it was determined that the two basement units were not up to code. I purchased this property roughly April of 2012. At that time, I confirmed with the current owner that it was registered with the city, and it was, and I got documentation for that, and our plan is to register again. I just mentioned that because we are trying to follow the rules. When I purchased the property, I was not living in the area. I was in Pittsburgh for work. It was listed on the MLS listing as a 6-unit, so that was the information that I purchased it based on. I had my inspector walk through the property, and they didn't flag any issues with it, so it was purchased under the impression, I guess, that it was a 6-unit. When it is being professionally managed by Reader Management Company, so again, trying to, manage this property the correct way, but when one of the tenants moved out downstairs, it was brought to the attention of me and my property manager for the first time that that unit was questionable. We made the decision, property manager and I, not to re-rent it for that reason. Later on, I guess a few months later, the city of Hammond contacted us that they wanted to do an inspection of the property. So obviously they came through and determined that not only the one that was vacant, but one that was currently rented, both of them were not habitable. Because of that, we are, fully in agreement that we are willing to find alternate housing for the second tenant. I guess more than anything, I'm just here to say we fully plan on complying with what the city's asked. Unfortunately, it's a misunderstanding. I purchased it without full knowledge, I guess. Shame on me, but we are trying to do what's right here.
We'll go from a 6-unit to a 4-unit, or 6 to 5?
6 to 4. There's 2 basement units, both would be non-rented.
Anything to add, code enforcement?
Findings in order to be affirmed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up question? What is needed for those basement units? Just get the tenant out of there? Is that the only real? We can, okay. Thank you, I appreciate it.
915 Michigan.
Good morning, Board. We were here last week, on this matter, and after last week, we received a notice on this hearing violation, which, frankly, I'd like to have a hearing on this continued, so I have a chance to look at all the files, but I'd like to bring up the lack of progress since last week. Not on my client's behalf. After the board meeting, or I was up here, we went into the side conference room with the electrical inspector and my client. We talked about what was needed. We went to the site right after the board meeting. We talked with what was needed to be done. That was on Thursday. On Friday, my client arranged money to hire an electrician to do the work. Monday, the electrician, this is Monday the 18th. The electrician filed the permit, I believe. I might be wrong on my dates. On the following Monday, we were here, so this was this past Monday, I'm sorry. Filed the permit. On the 19th, my understanding is it was approved by the electrical inspector. came to pick up the permit, was told that it was held by staff. And so, you know, my client, since the 22nd of February, has been trying to get the city to sit down and help him make this place safe. I want to correct a misperception I may have conveyed to the board last week as well, that when the board asked regarding the families that were living there, and I said, well, they do what they do. They weren't spending the nights at the thing once the power was shut off. They weren't spending the nights. When we went on scene, the gentleman's coming during the day to look after his belongings. But I just want to correct that misconception with the board. Bottom line is, we've tried to do everything we can to get the electrical people in to do the work that's needed on this property, and for some reason the city is holding up the permit so we can get the electrical done.
Probably add a little bit to that. When the electrical inspector visited the property, he met with an electrician, correct?
Just tell us, Mr. Callahan.
And he explained to the electrician what was necessary to, the work necessary to be done to have the electric turned back on. I think the owner decided he didn't want that electrician, and he hired another electrician. And this new electrician, from my understanding, came in, and he wasn't sure on what work needed to be done at that property. And that's why no permit was issued. The electrical inspector's off because of illness in the family right now. So that's where we're at with that.
Well,
Excuse me, Mr. Bossi, I thought it was the position of the board that the building department was going to issue a written documentation of what needed to be done, so that no matter which electrical inspector the property owner decided to hire, that electrical contractor could have been given a list, and then there would have been no confusion on the work to be done.
I think the issue is, we're claiming there's 2 illegal apartments there.
That's a different matter.
But
I'm sorry, that's a different matter.
if you let me finish.
Yes.
I appreciate that. We're claiming it's an illegal 3-unit, should be a single-family home. If it's rewired currently as a 3-unit, that's one thing. Come back a week later, whenever, and it goes back to a single-family, if the board approves that, that electric's going to have to be ripped out completely and redone as a single.
We appreciate his concern for what my client may or may not have to do if the board issues. My client's aware of that. We met with an electrician and the city electrical inspector immediately after this board meeting. We got a list of what needed to be done. That electrician does work with this one who came and filed the permit. So he knows what needs to be done. He's got a contract here with what needs to be done.
The letter that my inspector issued to the owner on the work required?
Your inspector did not issue a letter.
Oh, okay. And he's off for a family illness right now, so what do you suggest?
Well, what I suggest is that we allow the permit to go forward. I mean.
And is that permit for electrical work for that property as a single-family residence or a 3-unit?
First off, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to correct, it is not a 3-unit. There is no basement apartment. This is registered as a 2-unit. Okay. Now, the work was to be done as a 2-unit. We went through with the electrical person and understood what needed to be done, with the understanding that if the city came back and ordered it returned to a single unit, that my client, and he was there during the discussion, would have to do what would be necessary to return it to a 2-unit. I am told by the electrical people that granted, there will have to be some reconfiguring done if the city rules it's a single unit.
In sum, the work proposed currently is for a 2-unit, and if the ultimate determination is that this is single family, they will do the additional work to revert to a single family?
If the city orders it, that's what needs to be done. My client is aware that he has that risk and was aware when we met with the electrical inspector after this board meeting a week ago, and we talked about that very issue. Now, they're saying a 3-unit. What they may be referring to is the fact that there's 2 units, and then the electrical inspector said there had to be three, and I'm not, because of a public public area downstairs where there's washing machine and drying machine. But it is not a 3-unit. So, I mean,
Well,
I'm looking for guidance on
Code
helping.
enforcement, what did they present to you as
We're
far
here
as work?
today for the hearing on whether or not it is a 2-unit, 3-unit, or should be a single-family home.
We received
This
the,
is rhetoric. I mean, if the board wants to proceed with what's on the agenda, that is hearing the case on it being deconverted back to a single-family home.
That's easy. Mr. Vosti, I believe, asked for time for discovery.
Okay.
60 days sufficient?
yes, that would be fine.
May 23rd?
Now, in the meantime, permits on my desk for the electrical board. He's asking for a rewire as a 2-unit. And I can't approve a 2-unit because we say it's a 1-unit. But if we all have the understanding that if the board rules that it's a single-family home, he understands that he can't say, I just rewired it as
I
a
think
2-unit.
that's what he just represented.
And that was
That's clear.
the problem here.
Release it as soon as I leave the meeting.
It shouldn't have even been held up because that was the agreement with the electrical inspector when we met and we talked about it. I mean, you got 4 different hands here all giving us various signs. We just want to go forward and correct this problem.
Just about to end that conversation.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I'd ask the board to approve the electrical, order them to release the approved electrical inspection permit or the electrical work permit, please.
We might want to consider is,
Wait, let's see what Jim has.
we might want to consider if Mr. Vossi, his request is to issue the electrical permit per the contract that he has, his client has with the electrical contractor, not a result of the inspection requirements by our inspector. So if you want to issue a permit for what he has on his form, that's one thing. But if it doesn't comply with what's required by the electrical inspector, we're going to come back and make.
Well, do we know what's required by the electrical inspector?
No, because
Well,
I
why
don't
not?
know this time.
My understanding.
Because he's off, he has an illness in the family. You want me to go beat him up and bring him
No,
here?
because he did an inspection and drew a conclusion, and then we asked the conclusion be put in
Yeah, I
writing
understand
and delivered, and it hasn't been delivered.
If it's a 2-unit, there'd be one set of standards. If it's a 3-unit, there's another set of standards. If it's a single-family home, it's a third set of standards.
But no determination of what type
Right.
of home has been assessed. So the client's gotta-
Exactly.
He's got to fix the electrical, but we don't know to what standard.
Yeah, you need to tell us when you have the hearing, is it a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or a single?
How was it inspected, and what type of property, to determine that it wasn't in compliance?
It was inspected as a usage, that they were using it as.
If I may, I think
Well,
we're in
after-
agreement. I think we're in
After
agreement.
all
We're
the
going to have a
debate
hearing on
Mr.
May
Vossi and
23rd.
his client have represented, their desire is to rewire this as a 2-unit, and if the ultimate decision is that that is a 1-unit, they will make
That's
that
perfect.
modification. Is that acceptable?
I understand the permit hit my desk at 3:30 yesterday.
It was approved.
Well, you're a public
This
servant.
morning. You know, I mean, this is
No.
from 3:30 yesterday to 9 o'clock this morning.
Well, is
Not
that,
very close.
is that proposal satisfactory?
I mean, we have, I'm sorry, I don't need to add anything else. I appreciate the board's direction.
Mr. Callahan, you heard their proposal, is it satisfactory to code enforcement? The proposal is to rewire it as a 2-unit, and if the ultimate decision of this board is that it's a 1-unit, they will make the modification and incur the expense to make it 1-unit compliant.
Of the current code, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it
That's
requires.
acceptable?
Make sure you have current code in your minutes.
Oh, yeah, this is even update, you know, rewire and update electrical, install 2 100-amp panels, install blah, 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 bring electrical to
Well,
city
I
code.
think code enforcement has accepted the proposal.
Thank you.
May 23rd for status.
And I request discovery. I'll put it in writing as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a 4-unit building that was is illegally converted. We're asking for the removal of one first floor and one second floor apartment.
It'll be a 2-unit after?
It would be a 2-unit.
Good morning. His name is Victor Zaragoza. I'm his uncle. His cousin. He doesn't speak English, so the only thing that he could say is that when he first bought this building apartment was in October, and he had an understanding that it was a 4-unit apartment. So what he did was how it was registered, and when all he did was just like kind of paint it and remodel it a little bit. When he came to get the permits to get to rent the units, that's when he found out that it was illegal. I guess make it to a 4-unit apartment, but it was already registered. This was way before he bought the apartment. So I guess he doesn't have no problem making it to a 2-unit. He just needs to know, like in writing, what is it that he needs to do that.
That would be up to the contractor that they decide to hire. There's no fire separation between the 2 units on each floor.
How many units?
There should be 2. There's currently 4. We're asking
What
for,
are the current safety issues from that condition?
there's no fire separation between units on each floor.
So he's,
Basically, open up a wall generally on the first floor, make it one big apartment, same with the second floor.
it sounds like
Remove-
he's willing to convert it back
Right.
to 2 units.
Right.
So is there any issue here? Do we just give him time to do it?
We can give them time.
How much time do you need?
Para hacerlo en 2, unos meses,
60 days.
pero ahora que de que también que uno,
July 11th.
July 11.
no, pero que con los taxis y eso, muy bueno cambiar el papel.
We'll see you on July the 11th. We're coming.
He has another question, sir. He's saying that when he first bought it, it was registered as a 4-unit, so he's concerned about his property taxes now that he's going to make it in 2-unit. That is something that he has to talk to. Okay, so once it's registered as a 2-unit, that's automatically
Well,
tax.
he probably needs to go to Crown Point.
Less units, less income, less taxes.
Right. Okay then. Thank you.
Thank you. 4918 Elm,
What was the status date on Calumet 5740?
July 11th.
Thank you. 4918 Elm, we're asking for the removal of one first floor and one second floor apartment, converting it to a single-family home. The owner is cooperating, and permits have been pulled to do the work. We ask that you affirm the findings in order.
So I'll make a motion that we confirm. Second that, Bobby.
Concur in the recommendation. Restriction of use agreement, 4437 Cedar.
This has been signed by the owner, Mr. Romero, basically saying that the second floor apartment cannot be rented out, must be converted to a single-family home. This form just needs your signatures.
I move that the restricted use agreement be approved.
I'll second. Aye.
You hang on for a minute, Mr. Callahan. By the way, don't you guys take vacations?
Sorry, Mr. President, did we do DD?
We did.
Yes.
Okay, that's affirmed?
And double E, we did.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next, we have requests for rental registration hearings at 3 properties, May the 9th. Correspondence from Attorney Terpstra, request hearing on Exit 1 Tobacco, the Tobacco Superstore. I think that's the one at Calumet on 175th, isn't it?
May 2nd, Mr. President? Yes. Do we, oh, okay. April 4th? I move that we
Very good. Next from Mr. Gleason, he requests approval to place a residential parking sign only at 811 116th Street.
I'll make a motion that we approve his request.
All in favor? Next from Karen Miller, request street signage at the business 1407 173rd Street.
What kind of street signage?
Double I.
I mean, that's on the Columbia, it's right by where the liquor store used to be, but it's closed, right there on 173rd across from Columbia Center. I'm not sure what kind of signage. It's a little strip mall on the
Gallery 229.
north side of the street. It's a strip mall. I don't know what kind of signage is going there.
There's people from a church parking in front of her place.
Oh.
One signage that says,
This is parking
to
only.
rectify that.
What, 30 minutes parking only?
Let's refer that to Gary and see what he thinks is appropriate. I'll make a motion that we send that to Gary Gleason for comment.
No service.
All in favor? Aye. Next, St. Margaret Mary Church. They're requesting street closings March 24 for church processions.
I'll make a motion that we approve the church procession.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, from Mr. Lawrence Wolfers, wishes to hold an outdoor flea market in the parking lot of his church at 700 Sibley. Just let me advise the scope of this. Maybe every other weekend.
This is not a single event.
How can we set up for having a flea market in church parking lot maybe every other weekend?
Well, where do the customers of the flea market park then? All over the neighborhood? If they're gonna use the parking lot for the actual market? I think we need additional information.
Let's send him a letter asking him to come to the next meeting and explain a little bit.
Okay.
From Councilman Higgs, he requests trees on the 900 block of Kenwood be trimmed or removed, and an inspection be done at Douglas Point regarding maintenance of grass.
Would that be referred to the park department and the inspection department respectively?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. Next, we have findings of facts and decisions on 6832 Alcott.
I'd like to make a motion that the findings of fact be affirmed.
I'll concur.
Matters from board members.
I've got a matter here. There was an attorney who was supposed to be here today, but I don't see her in the audience. Elizabeth Norwood, for a property owner at 6814 Nevada Court. And it was an issue of a rental permit, so I don't know what we want to do with that. Huh? Oh, so it's taken care of? Oh. Then why did it say that she'd be here today?
Don't ask a question.
I think it's taken care of.
Very good. Department heads, new business, old business, public expression, anyone wishing to address the board. Motion to adjourn?
Second. Aye.
All in favor? Aye.